Welcome back to WB Mason Presents, the Joe Girardi Show. And Joe, in the last segment, you mentioned that great memory of going to a Cubs game with your dad. He always got tickets on bat day. Could you give us a little more flavor of what that day was like as a young boy? You mentioned Ron Santo pizza. What was that like?
That was the best part of going to the park for me when I was a little boy. I just looked forward to eating the pizza. And my father would buy me a piece every other inning. I mean, that's what he did. And I absolutely loved it. I loved the Cubs. I mean, we had so many great memories. And my two favorite players were Ron Santo and Jose Cardinal. And the reason Jose Cardinal was one of our favorite players is we actually thought that he looked like my aunt. Now, I don't want to embarrass my aunt, Connie, or Jose Cardinal, but he was dark-complected. My aunt was very dark-complected and had this big afro like Jose Cardinal, and we used to joke about it.
Very interesting. Does Jose know this?
Oh, yeah. Jose knows it. And when I got a chance to really meet Jose and sit down with him when he was a coach with the Yankees, that was a thrill for me.
Now, your dad, as a baseball fan, was he the type of guy who he was going to keep score? He was trying to teach you about the game. What were those experiences like?
It was more about teaching me the game and sitting down at the chairs at home and watching the game. And my father was a salesman, and during the summer, there were days that I would ride in the car with him. And I don't know if I acted, good or bad when I was at the sales calls, but we would listen to Cubs games on the radio because they were day games. And we'd listen to Jack Brickhouse and Lou Boudreau. And then when they were on the road, we'd sit in the family room and watch them on TV. Those were the night games. And I used to just sit there. And my father could get a little upset when they didn't play well. But he brainwashed me to be a Cubs fan as a little boy. And I know he's still waiting for him to win.
Now, what's the most important lesson? And I'm sure there were a lot of them. But what's the most important lesson your dad ever taught you?
When I think about my father, I think my father taught me about, there's two things I want to talk about. The value of hard work and toughness. My father wanted us to know what he did. And my father worked 3 jobs to support the 5 children. And he would take me on the weekends as to be the laborer. He would lay bricks on the weekend. And he would pay me for my work and taught me the value of money. But we would work hard. I mean, for a 7-year-old to be carrying, bricks and to be mixing the mortar and to be smoothing out in between the layers, it was a great experience for me. The other thing he taught me about was toughness. I mean, we would play basketball in the backyard, and he would push me around, and I was just a little boy, and when I would shoot, he'd hit me in the stomach, and he wanted to teach me to fight back and to be tough, because there would be situations in life and sports that you'd have to display that.
Now, obviously, I think you learned that lesson well from your dad because he wanted you to see what he did at work. We see you at Yankee Stadium with your kids there all the time, so obviously you've adopted that as well.
Well, I think it's really important your kids understand what you do and that you're working, and sometimes, they think it's all play, but I learned from my father that you have to work hard to be successful, and you have to put in long hours sometimes, and your number one job as the father is to provide for your family, and that's what he did. So he took me everywhere, and wherever he went, I was right behind him, and sometimes when he stopped, I ran into him.
Now, we know that your dad has been stricken with Alzheimer's disease, and the schedule was kind to you.
Yes.
You're in Chicago during Father's Day, and you're going to get the opportunity to visit with your dad. How important is it for you when you don't see him as much as you would like during the baseball season to be able to do that?
It's really important because he's at the ending stages of Alzheimer's. My father's 80 years old and has probably had it for 15 or 16 years. And he is basically, he doesn't talk anymore, and he doesn't get up. He can't walk. His eyes are closed all the time. And every time I get a chance to see him, I don't know, if that's going to be the last time. And this year we're fortunate enough to come to Chicago twice.
Now, I asked you what was the lesson that your father taught you that stuck with you. What about the lessons you try to teach your children? Are they similar? Are you trying to pass on the same thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's important that your kids know that you work hard. I think it's important the kids understand the importance of education, which my mother preached, and my wife Kim preaches all the time to our kids. And I want my kids to work hard. I want them to earn what they get.
Now, I've seen you throw batting practice to Dante a number of times. We're at Yankee Stadium. We're in the press box. We see that happen. Was your dad throwing BP to you that much? Because you're out there with Dante all the time.
Absolutely. And I went to Northwestern, and we always started, we were on the quarter system. We started in late September. And for the whole month of September and late August, my father would take me, right down the street from his restaurant to a high school baseball field and feed the machine. I'd take 150 swings a day, and my father was there for me. And I actually hit a line drive one day, and it caught his finger and broke his finger, and he never stopped working. And I saw that toughness in my father. But he got me back, and that was the thing about my father. He showed me that he was still in charge and that he was still tough. He spun a ball in the machine, and it actually hit me, and he said, now we're even.
Wow. Have you ever had a ball that hit you from Dante? Has
Yes.
he ever gotten you yet?
Yes, he's hit me in the leg. Actually, when I throw it to Serena and Lena, too, I get a little bit closer, and they've hit me as well, and it doesn't feel good.
Well, you better start wearing some catcher's gear out there, Joe, because they're not going to get any smaller. When we come back on the next segment, we're going to let Joe answer your questions. Your social media questions are coming up next on WB Mason Presents The Joe Girardi Show.